Oh, I have no idea exactly what happened here, but this is, ladies and gentlemen, what makes about, I would say, 50% of my work is nothing other than repair, search for solutions to the crime that Illuminati has engineered. In this case, it was a state of the art of the video I produced, but this state of the art video that I produced is going to have to be redone entirely because, well, the only useful thing that I can use here is the audio, which I'm going to separately post one. But when it comes to the video, I do not understand. The whole thing is 1 hour and 17 minutes long, but it end up as 1 hour 17 minutes and 39 seconds. The whole thing was reduced by my telephone into segment of 53 minutes of video. Of course, I cannot put 1 hour and 18 minutes into 53 minutes, as you know. Plus, there is a lot of stuff that is missing from this video. So that's why the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play you whatever I have here. And then the rest of it is just going to have to be redone again. But this is just more than enough to prove the case here. That's all there is. I don't have anything else to say. I absolutely did not use the pause button. It's none of that stuff. I have no idea what it is, and there is no cure to this state of the art video that was destroyed by the telephone, reduced to nothing. There is some programs that jumpstart as you start the telephone, but weird enough, beforehand, before I started to even video record this stuff, I disabled them. So I really don't know what exactly happened, but it doesn't help me. Police have stolen, I don't know how many telephones, destroyed computer equipment, everything. So that, Tim Cook, remember the name Tim Cook from Apple? I think that's what the biggest disgrace involved in this case. He was just making things up and even paid for destroying me telephones and stuff like that so that he could brand his Apple, which I really rejected, disliked heavily. Tim Cook, yeah. No, this is not a case of the Tim Cook, but Slovenian government loved Tim Cook. People like Tim Cook, Tim Cooks, crooks. They also refer to him as a crook. He is worse than a crook. No, I already finished this project, but I figured out that because they do a lot of stuff, it feels like I'm doing this on kilos, man. It feels like I'm doing some kind of a cheap shit, cheap garbage. This is another incident with an ambulance. And like I said, I did it already, but I decided I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it the right way so that it can be crystal clear about what went on today with the ambulance vehicle, which I have followed literally into the hospital and confronted one with a camera in my hands. It makes me feel that this shit is done on kilos, literally, because it was so much crime involved in MK Ultra with enforced through the so-called police station. This is what they view themselves as, a police with psychiatrist cops who was empowering this crime, police crime, throughout the Novo Mesto. And this whole thing almost make me do a cheap video. And I don't want to do no fucking cheap video. I want to do the video the way it's supposed to be. First of all, where is this incident that took place? This is the city of the Novo Mesto in the name of the city. And there is this major bridge here, that is also connected to a rail. So this bridge right here, and it was easy. I was on foot. My mother left today to the father, left me at home at 12 o'clock. I was supposed to take her to the father maybe 20 minutes before 1300 hours before 1 p.m. to the father, but she left on either on foot or somebody took her. I don't know. I know that they brought her back from the city with a car. And so it doesn't even matter. I went on foot, I went to the father, and I was quite stressed out as I was going. I had a lot of stuff on my mind, analyzing a lot of stuff, trying to get to the bottom of a lot of issues. When not too far from, this is a general hospital, Novo Mesto, and then there is such thing as Zdravstveni dom, which is a smaller building, a smaller version, not really hospital, but this is what you would go for medical checks when they would send you to the specialists, or you would have a general physician sending you from here to whatever specialists, maybe to the hospital here in Novo Mesto. So let's see what this looks like one more time. It is important. This is a big building, General Hospital Novo Mesto, and then you also have Zdravstveni dom. That's, yeah, like some kind of ambulance. I'm not going to say union, but a lot of specialists working in a building. Specialists for children, specialists for adults, for certain issues, whatever. I should even say general physicians. And then you have another one that's an old building right there. So the three buildings here, this is the old where they keep the father. And also they keep one here because it was also torture that went also in that building. But this is the main building. This is a General Hospital Novo Mesto right here. And then you have this place here, which is also the center for ambulance vehicles that respond to, for instance, almost a year ago, it's almost anniversary, about a year ago, November the 30th, 2025, when ambulance vehicle was dispatched to respond the emergency which Ministry of Interior, the thugs here from Novo Mesto police station, I don't have a good choice of English language right now. It just doesn't come to me, but they orchestrated psychiatric hospitalization through my visit to so-called police station at Novo Mesto through Ministry of Interior. That is, in particular, Miran Sodin, the criminal I already have spoken a lot about on the blog. They requested ambulance to transfer me to a psychiatric hospital. That was about a year ago, maybe almost anniversary of this is coming, of this attempt to, for psychiatric hospitalization after I visited the police station and reported MK Ultra crime. I reported director of this so-called police station and filed a claim against entire police station just to be literally I was transported right from here. I was transported to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. So this here, this shit that went on today, this is under no circumstances joke. So the first video I did, it sounded like not a big deal. This is actually a big deal. It's a big deal. It's big to me. It's very big. It's very important. And we're going to come to the bottom of this stuff. The incident took practically just a few meters away from this location here. Right on the bridge, which I demonstrated you at first. This is where you would have ambulance vehicles parked. And then there is another entrance right here in the back, where they also keep ambulance vehicles. And also supposedly their cars, personal cars from the um, physicians, nursing staff, and so on. The incident which took place right here, somewhere like this, and this is basically where I decided. I ignored it at first, but then I did pull the camera out and I started to record this. I wanted to record this. It really pissed me off, and I was too late. This ambulance vehicle pulled quickly, rapidly flew through here, but I still catch one on camera. In a little bit, I'm going to give you a recording. And I cut right through here and I followed up on this ambulance vehicle to meet this guys right here in the back. It was a little bit too much for me. And so what exactly happened during this encounter based on MK Ultra scenario? First of all, I rushed to the father. I came here. This is an intersection which is before the bridge. That's a bridge right there in front of you. And as I come on the bridge, just about at this distance, maybe here, I see an ambulance vehicle on the side of the road as you see that white van right there. So at the same time, I am right here where you see this pedestrian. So the chances that I would have anything to do with this ambulance vehicle, which was in a column of the cars, there was none really, you know. So as I walk down this sidewalk, just like the guy that you see right there, this is even separated by the fence and everything. I see this ambulance vehicle here somewhere, and I didn't know what the fuck to do with it. I decided, fuck him. I mean, medical ambulance vehicle, like ambulance vehicle, you know, ambulance vehicles always, wherever the hell I go, it's ambulance vehicles. But fuck him. I mean, I got a smarter stuff to do than worry about the ambulance vehicle. They don't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It is simple as this. If they don't bother me, it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit about. We're going to settle this one way or the other anyways. The police is going to have to release the information about not only ambulance workers, but people from home for elderly people, hospital, absolutely everyone. This is just a matter of time. And if they're not going to release this, we're going to deal some other way anyways. So as I walk down this bridge, and the distance between the ambulance vehicle and myself start to close in, I get closer and closer to the ambulance vehicle, and I hear ambulance vehicle horning. This was all packed up, jammed up with the cars. There was bumper to bumper line of cars here that extended all the way down to semaphore. And he, not here yet, yeah, somewhere here, I would say probably. It was the first with you know, he gave the first, he used the horn, right? So I look at this ambulance vehicle. I didn't give a fuck about this ambulance vehicle. I just proceeded. You know, I had too many problems in my head thinking about stuff. So I keep going. And so I keep going and there's not much going on. And based on MK Ultra, I know that this must have happened. The second horning must have happened. This must have happened somewhere here already, in this place here, where you would have this wide line, maybe something like that. That ambulance vehicle again gave horned again, and you know, if this is the guy right here that you see, let's say that this is who I was. Let's just supposedly say so, okay? The ambulance vehicle driver, you see where I am. I am not parallel to him. I'm not parallel to him. For me to see this guy, I have to actually look through the window a little bit this way. You know what I mean? I have to look at a little bit that way to see him. You get me? And the ambulance worker horned, and as I'm walking past, I look at the ambulance vehicle. Directly, I look at the ambulance vehicle in the window, on the side. I even made this is some other project I was working on. I even made a, oh shit, no, I don't have anything left. I did earlier, like I said already, and so now I decided I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so this is a straight line. This one is 180 degrees or 360 degrees. It depends how you see it. And for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pull another line here. And so you have to agree we have 90 degree of, I don't know how you say the angles of 90 degree, four of them. The only proper way for me to demonstrate based on the interaction with the ambulance workers is basically placing heads like this, 50-50 of the ambulance workers inside of the ambulance vehicle, and basically the corner when I started to observe their conduct. And the corner would be like this. It was something like this. This would be the corner. So the first one that I noticed that was looking through the window was actually a driver. A driver was a guy whom, is it, maybe that is even a physician? I have no idea. Let me just see this stuff here. Was he driving a van?
Prosim? Tu je telefon. Ja, snemam. Prosim? Vprašal sem vas, zakaj ste se peljali po mostu na drugi strani. Jaz sem bil na tisti strani tukaj, na levi strani.
No, it just no. This is just a technician. This is just a regular technician. Is not a doctor. This is just a technician. How can I say? A nurse, basically. Not the nurse with a degree, or maybe he's a nurse with a degree. Maybe he's in the school or whatever the case might be. He was involved in NKH with other guys also here. Back to this issue here. So the first time I ignored this horning of this ambulance, I just proceeded. I haven't noticed anything that would get my attention in respect to this ambulance vehicle. The second time, as I looked into the window, I see him staring at me. So he horned twice, and the second time he horned, I just pay attention to. I looked at it. This vehicle was moving very slowly alongside next to me. I actually even lost the track of it, where the fuck it was, what went on. I didn't even care. All I know is at the one point in time, I hear the horn again. I look at the window, and I see the guy staring at me. And as I look at him, and as I am moving, let's do this stuff again a little bit so that you understand exactly what happened. And as I'm moving obviously like this, as I continue to go straight, right? That's how it is. That's his vision. As I continue to move up, and I look at this van, inside of this van, as the two sit, he alerts the other co-driver, or I don't know how you would say, whoever was with him inside of the another technician or physician or whoever the guy was. He's also video recorded. He alerts him about me Now the two guys are staring at me. I don't know. I am not a very pretty person. I am not really interesting person. I just go about my business really. But the two become really interesting to me because there was no pedestrians on my side of the my side of the this. Here is, you can drive a bicycle, you can walk. This is actually separated even with this, and the two dudes are sitting inside of the ambulance vehicle. Like, let's say this vehicle right there, and are staring at me. He makes sure, based on MK Ultra scenario, so that I could see him alerting other co-driver, the guy, his passenger, on a passenger seat. And now the two are staring at me. Oh, well, man, I really didn't want any trouble, but my blood started to boil. I make it up to maybe, oh, how can I tell you? The best way maybe that I explain to you about this scum here. Psychiatrist Peter Kapsch is his name. He's got a private office here. He worked for the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje. That, at least I saw him in there, and that's what he claimed. Here's the garbage. He was, how can I say, obsessed with the traffic. He was obsessed with the traffic and demanded from me to see signs not only in people's clothing, but in cars, and you fucking name it, signs, etc., road closures and all kinds of issues. But that's his job. He's a psychiatrist, and he referred to this stuff as poisoning of the brain poisoning, basically. Brain poisoning, that's how he referred to this type of toxic, insane stuff. And he enjoyed nothing more than to intimidate with the police vehicles, ambulance vehicles, road workers, construction worker, repair people, road repair people, etc. Interesting, as I returned home, right in front of me, just before I turned home, it was a moped. Hell or heaven, a kid with a shirt who also was involved in MK Ultra. Now, once I get home inside in here, it's a ambulance vehicle that started to horn again like crazy across the Kirka River. And it didn't stop. It was other ambulance vehicles, but it was not across the Kirka River as the other one, which I actually video recorded. I haven't heard any ambulance vehicles already for maybe a month. It was such a silence, man. Like mouses, they keep silent. There is a lot about what went on inside our house, inside with me, inside of their ambulance vehicles. Who these people are, these ambulance drivers? They really shut their mouths. They started to behave properly. Well, not exactly. There was some other incidents involved based on MK Ultra scenario, but they wouldn't dare anymore to do the stuff like they did before on the other side of the Kirka River, when they would just go and blow these sirens repeatedly, doing madness. They don't do that no more. But so it was a little bit paused, and now they started again. Who the hell knows? Maybe they thought that, that I'm just gonna let go or something like that. But no. I saw at the Graben, not too far from here, I saw this car. It's now a Volkswagen ID. this garbager that I demonstrated you, this psychiatrist, he knew absolutely for every car that was to come out, that was to be released, he tested them before they were even released. He traveled to Germany, he traveled the world. He traveled to Fuji, he traveled to Australia, all over New Zealand. Uh, he traveled, there was no place in the world, in the globe, that this scumbag, shitbag did not travel with the police next to me, enforcing his schizophrenia. He had a wonderful life. He referred to that as a free pass, as a basically lifetime vacation pass to this case. That's how he referred to this stuff as. We do have a Renault factory here, the major Renault factory we do have in the city of the Novo Mesto. He was obsessed with the car. This is one car enthusiast, but a lunatic. Just before I reached here Graben on my way back, this is just, it's not a kilometer away from our home, about 600 meters, I don't know. Just right here, there was a guy who was involved in MK Ultra who came with a Volkswagen ID. Now, there is some kind of a Volkswagen ID, and police send this puppet to intimidate with a Volkswagen ID. Also involved in MK Ultra, who knows? Maybe just released recently. I have no fucking idea because I'm not impressed with this stuff. And I don't know when even they released this car. And that was, once he learned about this car, that car would come out, he would use other cars to remind me of what was demonstrated to me as a future, as a concept, a future Volkswagen ID. I told about the Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, all these manufacturers, yeah, and Chevrolet and Tesla, etc., all this involved in this MK Ultra garbage. I told you about that stuff. So during MK Ultra, what he would do, if he wouldn't get the car that he wanted to use to intimidate with, like he placed different signs even on the Skoda cars from other car brands, so that I would recognize Skoda. And on the other hand, he was using from Volkswagen and doing the stuff gluing in the back of the car, so that I would, with the police, with not the police, this is not a police. You understand my feelings for these garbagers from this Milan Kuchan bunker. I told you about the Slovenia, what Slovenia is. There's no way I can consider this as a police. There's no way I can consider this as a police. These are grandkids, grandchildren of those who committed crimes like this one. This is not the only crime. It was all over the Slovenia. This is who they are. These are the grandkids of the partisans who committed this after the World War II, this kind of massacre. And there were women and children inside in there too. This is who they are. This is what this scum this is what Slovenia is. They were begging me, no, not just not partisans. The thing is that I realized too late, but I didn't realize too late. I did associate myself with the British veterans. I did associate myself with American veterans till they left me behind. You don't have to be a white guard. I'm sorry. You don't have to be a partisan supporter to see yourself as a decent human being. Because in Slovenia, just like everywhere across the Europe, there were those that cooperated with the neo-Nazis and there were those who resisted the neo-Nazism. Both parts of my family were enrolled in a heavy partisan movement, resistance against the neo-Nazi Germany, fascist Italy, but, Mom talked to me today about grandfather and I lost it. She mentioned to me, grandfather, I told her, these partisan movements, they're criminals, they're war criminals. And I am the proof about this stuff. My mom, her entire family, everybody was enrolled in this movement. And I told my mom, it's not good. You are part of it. You are part of it. You don't have the right to talk to me about any of this. And it's exactly your family that contributed to this, that was enrolled in this MK Ultra. You enforced it. And you saw yourself in this silence, see nothing, hear nothing, know nothing, for the sake of your Belgrade partisan camaraderie. And that kind of camaraderie is what you see here. I am not going to take any kind of shortcuts. You don't have to see yourself as a partisan. You don't have to see yourself in a war crimes to see yourself in a mirror as a decent human being. That's just 1, 2, 3. This is just simple as this is. The Allies didn't really do this stuff like this when they captured. Well, it depended whom they captured, but in this case here in Slovenia, there's nothing dear to these people, and it got only worse over the course of the time. 85 years after, you can see based on my case where the whole thing had it, what exactly did develop out of this Josip Broz Tito, Yugoslavia, the so-called Yugoslavia, which I regard as a greater Serbian Chetnik state. You don't have to. I don't know if anybody gives a shit about those that collaborated with the Nazism. The only thing I can say is Germans alone don't see themselves in the Nazism and don't also allow any kind of association with the neo-Nazism, nor do Italians. So still, in my situation, I have to admit, and it's also the partisans that have problem with the partisans at the end of the world because of all kinds of issues that didn't only pertain to the people whom they killed, but even against the partisans who fought against the Germans and Italians. And when the war was finished, it was like portion of this wing split from the other portion, and so on. This kind of political games, things only got worse with all this stuff. I just wanted to be direct about what exactly I'm dealing here, what exactly we are dealing with when it pertains to my case. I don't want to go too far with this stuff. I hope I did not confuse you. The car flew through here, and I kind of felt stupid for not recording this ambulance vehicle. I said to myself, you know what? I said to myself, fuck this. Let me pull the camera out and let me at least take a date and time, and we're gonna find out who the workers were on the bridge, who drove the ambulance vehicle, and basically we're gonna go from there. Man, this ambulance vehicle simply flew like before I would even take the camera out, boy. This just it was just you're gonna see based on recording, barely could I get a glimpse of this ambulance. This is an actual clip right here. As I come here, there you go, right at the top of the bridge. I catch him. I mean, it just flew through. I said to myself, how stupid you are, you didn't do that. So I pulled the camera and I didn't even know if I caught him or not. And that, I got even angrier about that stuff. I said, no, you know what? I said to myself, this was based on MK Ultra scenario. And I knew that this car here is going to turn into the facility located right here, which I demonstrated you earlier. Oh shit. Let's go back to the bridge where you're the one you can see it right there from the bridge clearly. Yeah, I said to myself, no. Eventually what's going to happen is you're gonna at the top of the hill, eventually you're going to come right here. Remember when I told you when I was delivered from the police station on October November 2024. I was delivered right here before I was transported to the psychiatric hospital Ljubljana Polje from police station. They would deliver me here. And during MK Ultra, the stuff that you're gonna watch here, me doing this stuff, including the stuff that right now was eyeing these ambulance vehicles, was repeated during MK Ultra on at least this incident. Talking about this incident was fortified over the course of at least well, it depends how you see it, but you're going to hear me talking uh, about the security office where it was, how they play, where they changed the buildings. As the Yugoslavia have fallen down, they started to rearrange these buildings, change everything inside of them to make them as unrecognizable as much as possible. With what became a private security company, as the same shit was done partially. Something little was also done at home for elderly people, where they also changed something little. So that I would not recognize in the future when I would get there. This shit was in making. I'm not lying to you if I say over 35 years. But the incident I am going to be talking to you about was in making at least 12 years repeatedly with, now actually, it's not 12 years. The incident I'm talking about today, that I will be talking to you today about, was in making at least, I'm going to say at least, well, sometimes since, for sure, sometimes since 2005. 2005 is when they got, I think, 2004, 2005, when they got an idea to play with this stuff here. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. You're going to hear me explain everything in English as I continue. But anyways, I am not here to discuss these issues. I just want to explain exactly what happened, and in continuation, I explain about the stuff that went on during MK Ultra. So let's go and let's see this clip. So I can get one translated for you beforehand.
An ambulance vehicle right
Slovenian
there,
to English,
make a turn right here.
so that you understand exactly what you're watching.
Traffic. He was going along the traffic because it's a jam. But there's one thing about him, what he was doing is, he kept horning. He kept horning with a horn. And also based on MK Ultra scenario, he's gonna have to
Where the fuck do you go with a horn? Where the fuck on this bridge do you go with a horn? How far can you get on this bridge with a horn? What the fuck do you do? Pay attention to this stuff here. First time he horned, there was like this. It was one line. Bumper to bumper traffic. Where the fuck do you go? Here you have two, two passes, two sides of the road where you can continue. You can continue straight here. You can make, on your left side, you can make a left turn. But where the fuck do you go here? Bumper to bumper traffic. He wasn't using emergency lights. Did nothing to it. Just like any other car, was sitting bumper in a bumper to bumper traffic and was moving along the bridge. Then we get here about something like this here. Something like this here. And now it was like this because, yeah, he had the ability to actually, he could go here and make a left, but he wanted to go straight. It was straight, clearly straight. Now, he is sitting on this side of the road. Let's go back here. Let me see if the Google did this stuff. You see how good Illuminatis are. Look at that. Oh, here is throwing me what, in the middle, or how is he going to do that stuff? I'm trying to be where that white car is right there. and I'm not very successful at it, right? And so I know because when I was on the pedestrian walk on the other side of the road, this is quite very wide here. This isn't small. And there was another car between us that was waiting to make a left turn, also on a semaphore light, where also was a bumper to bumper traffic. So I said, there was no fucking sight of where the hell are you gonna, what exactly is this shit? Um, where where are you gonna go? I mean, you're nowhere even close to the fucking semaphore light, dude. And you started to horn up here. This is where you started to do noise. That's a little bit far, don't you think so? Before you're gonna hit the semaphore light. Um, and on top of that, it wasn't anything nervous. At least if it would have been nervous, at least it would be like da 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 da, like in a sense, like move out of my fucking way, I need to go through or something like that. It was not emergency. This was just not an emergency. Of course, I understand what emergency is. You don't actually have to turn the lights on for me to move out of my way to you if you're an ambulance vehicle. I gladly move away from police cars, from ambulance vehicles, whatever the fuck it is. For whatever reason that you did not turn the sirens on or lights on or whatever, any kind of signalization. This is just, based on your judgment, and I absolutely respect this. But he claimed during MK Ultra, talking about the driver, who was at the time no technician. I think it was a kid. He was just a tall kid always. That he will be doing this kind of stuff to alert others on a red light. And if he did that, nobody would even hear him up front or anything. It made no fucking sense whatsoever. Zero sense. Clearly a bullying. And this was a bullying, make no mistake about it. As I cross this area here, oh shit, I can actually make it here. That's very nice. I'm impressed. I did not go through here. And it throws me out. So yeah, that is not good. I don't even know. But this is. I'm just gonna say this is. We. You got to make sure that I do properly record this stuff here. Yeah, we are okay. Let me see. I hope that this isn't gonna do it again. This is about as good as I can get, I think. It's not gonna. I cannot take a chance because it's gonna dump me again out. So, we're gonna do it from here. It's the MK Ultra that opens up as soon as I come here, as soon as I enter this area. Well, let me see if I can at least maybe I can. No, it dumps you out. You don't get through that one. It kicks you out, and that doesn't work. Okay. As soon as I am passing through here, just the way you see it, I just cut here right through the grass, and I go here. This is the area where I go through, and as soon as I am heading here because I would like to find out what the fuck was this about. You're not allowed to harass people with the stare downs inside of the ambulance vehicles. That's called stalking. especially if you use horns and you try to intimidate a person. It's more than stalking, it's intimidation. So I wanted to hear his side of the story, what he's going to say before he's going to be reported. This guy, I will file criminal charges against him and against his driver. And this is pretty much what police wanted. I get to that stuff in continuation because before I returned home, I already broke down the whole incident into exactly what took place. I noticed an ambulance vehicle pulling over, just like the one you see it here, right next to the building. And there was two guys that stepped out, and it just absolutely did not look like the guys I have observed inside of the ambulance van. It didn't look like that, and it was exactly based on MK Ultra scenario. Stupid I was, I did not video record, but I wanted to keep focus on an ambulance vehicle that in between slide right through you cannot see it here, you cannot see it here, but you're gonna see this from the video which I'm gonna play you now. There is an area here behind as you go, like this, as you go behind this building, where they have this entrance also, like that. You cannot see it, but behind it looks exactly like this. That's another entrance. This is probably even a main entrance to this. When it comes to ambulance, I don't know. All I know is that security office, which Milan Kuchan insisted with Robert Golob, they insisted that they are located here. Then they insisted that they are located somewhere in the middle of this building. They were also using other buildings. All I know is that security office supposedly they were involved. The security officers from this place here were involved. They had one guy that was monitoring. And this security office was located either here or here, something like this, in the back of it. Man, they were playing with changing the whole building, offices and stuff like this when Yugoslavia went off the picture. And they tried to make as many different as much as possible and changes inside of the building. And so this is exactly what I figure out. I saw the car, ambulance vehicle, squeezing through here, but it was that other ambulance vehicle that car, the ambulance vehicle that I chased, went through already here. But another ambulance vehicle, I told you, was used to pose me with, the one that I told you. So they make them so big here, this and that, but I knew I have to go back here as soon as I saw the two guys stepping out. I didn't know if it was not this one or the ambulance vehicle that squeezed itself through. Slightly I saw that it went through. I immediately recognized that this one other two guys that stared at me through the window. So I proceeded in this direction that I demonstrated you, is just like this, located behind this building. This is where psychiatrists, Peter Kapshin police had a lot of fun in this area. They loved this area because of the psychiatric hospitalization in 2012. Lekarna was involved in torture since it existed. It was all about schizophrenic. Already since I was child, they were using ambulance drivers. I remember the Bosnian guy whom Josip Broz Tito used. They used ambulance drivers, literally. ambulance vehicles to intimidate me with mental illness. When I was drugged up during MK Ultra, they tortured, and then on the road, when I would be coming to the hospital, or I should say this zdravstveni dom, they were using ambulance drivers to intimidate me and cursed me and death threatened me and so on. This was the life in Yugoslavia. This is exactly the way it was. This area here is all too well known to me. They tortured me in these locations here that you see since I was a child, in these hospitals here. This was the thing in Yugoslavia. They love this terror, how it will be and it will be, and you will be, and you will eat the medications and you will eat pills and so on and so on and so on. How we kill you, basically. They don't say kill you, but they say we fix you. And we're going to fix you. And so today, once I realized what this stuff was about,
explain about that horning, because nobody
yeah,
was actually.
you're going to see the
on
clip.
its
Don't
way or
worry
anything
about the
like
clip.
this.
Right
It's a
now,
call on its cars,
I am just going to
and
go and
another thing is
translate
the two
this for
drivers, I
you.
remember his face also.
Yes, I
They
remember the
both looked
face
through
of
the
this
windows at
guys.
me when they were doing that stuff. I was on this side of the road here, not on the other
Yes,
side of the road.
yes,
He was on the other side of the road, extreme
yes.
other side of the road. So that is the
Semi,
stuff that
semi-blonde guy, semi-blonde guy. Yeah, semi-blonde guy. Do you know why he's a semi-blonde guy? Do you know why I called one a semi-blonde guy? Because I called one a semi-blonde guy. There's no light here much. I called one a semi-blonde guy because I'm gonna fuck you, my friend. Fuck you for real. Fuck you so much that you're gonna spend a good time in the jail. That's why I called you a semi-blonde guy, because during MK Ultra I keep calling you a semi-blonde guy. Yeah, that's me. I was addressing you in front of your partner, your future partner, as a semi-blonde guy, even that you are not blonde, even that you're a brown-haired guy. That's why semi-blonde guy was exactly the correct impression that I got when I saw one inside of the van. I don't know why I addressed him, and today, as soon as I saw it inside of the van, he came to me as a semi-blonde guy, wherever. Um, let's continue with this tape.
maybe we can check.
So as you see, I just cut
Right
here
through
through the
like
green.
Maybe we can check what is it that he wanted from me. Maybe
But yeah, I really do not like this kind of stuff. Nah, you're not going to be doing this kind of stuff. Fuck that.
he wanted to tell his story.
That was the last time you did this, my friend. I want to know your
It's not going to be
story.
difficult to do this because I remember his face.
This was
Both
this
drivers.
was this was not a violent guy. This guy, after all, this was a child. Um, his father is very tall, and I really don't know. That was his father, and I'm thinking about it whether he had a brothers. Something I have to think about more about this stuff. Um, there is no signs that I cannot enter here.
That was a semi-blonde guy.
Yeah, you hear me, semi-blonde guy?
They were all
Yeah,
involved in this stuff.
semi-blonde guy was involved in this stuff, yeah. And there he is, a semi-blonde guy right there. Appa, pay attention to this guy right here. I don't care. I don't care. There is a guy that you see right there. Look, you see, as he headed from the ambulance vehicle, a neighbor from the guy where I'm heading. This one right here. Pay attention to it because he goes like this. And this is based on MK Ultra scenario. These guys death threatened. There was a police here. This was 16 years in making this crime here. 16 years was I brought here by Igor Stefanic, who was nobody and nothing at the time. Now is a director of police station. Igor Jusic Andrei Stefanic, in a parenthesis, police officers, investigators that intimidated, this is restricted area. That's where you're not supposed to come in, etc., 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 all kinds of stuff like that. Janez Ogulin powered this kind of crime together with, his name is Olaj. Ljubljana, Milan Kučan, Robert Golov, this is what they were doing. This was the thrill. This is what they liked. So this guy started to walk like this, like he's going to go right next to these lines. And he doesn't do that. He, at a certain point, changes the location and walks straight toward me. And does this based on MK Ultra scenario to intimidate me. So the whole setup here is exactly to the last millimeter, to the last detail. What I reported to you earlier about how the incident took place on the bridge, it was this very young man, this, as I call, semi-blonde guy, who described me even where he's going to be with the vehicle at a certain time. So this traffic jam that was generated today at this intersection, and as I was heading to the father, was timed to the last second. The only one that does the stuff like this that I know of, that's actually the police, nobody else. Everything, absolutely everything. So pay attention to the guy. So I'm not heading toward him, obviously. I'm heading here. And I'm not interested in smashing into him. He really didn't have to do that because of me.
In this stuff.
That's what it takes to point out the whole thing. First of all, here, I don't even know where the fuck you're going. Pay attention to this here. There is nowhere. Where the hell are you gonna go here? I mean, there is nowhere to go. All these drivers, as they were heading, just like he was heading, they were heading here, behind the building, right here in between. You're gonna see me at the end. This is where we go. So where the hell was this guy heading in direction here? I have no idea. But yeah, it is important because this was a location of intimidation, threats, not only with the ambulance drivers, but also with the police, with ambulance drivers. Maybe the guy that you see right there even suggesting that if I had somebody coming to me and start challenging me about this, it's a physical fight and stuff like this. I don't let you get away and stuff like that. Ambulance workers from the US and other parts of the world siding with them on how stressful it is to be an ambulance worker. I never said it's not stressful. I just suggest you not to death threaten people. Go to their homes and death threaten them, or death threaten them inside of their ambulance vehicles, or engage in the physical restraints and torture while they are drugged up. That's all, and this for the purposes of the ethnic cleansing genocide. That's all I suggest you, because you're not an ambulance worker. I hope you understand that. Just like you're not a police officer, I hope you understand that. I do not classify myself as a Slovenian because of this case. This started when I was less than 1 year of age, few months of age, and it did develop into resistance from my side, into active one. I don't see you, by God, I don't fucking see you from here. I say, good day to you. And he says, good day to me. And I say, what happened? I said, I saw you because I saw you on the bridge and you were driving next to me and it was bumper to bumper traffic. And you were using your horns occasionally, and then you stared at me. I said, what was it? So I don't know how to describe. Sensational, maybe. Like I said, I'm not very beautiful person, and I'm not also so weird person when you see me on the road. So there must have been something that must have been interesting. He said, I did not horn you. What you have your telephone in your hands, he says. And that I didn't like the way he used the language toward me. What do you have your telephone in your hands? I said to him, that's a telephone. And he says, yes. And I said, yes, I video record. And he says, what are you video recording? And I said, I asked you. I said, I asked you. You were driving on the bridge on the other side where I was, across from me. I was on the left side. So I directly say, what were you horning and looking at me and staring at me? He said, I did not horn you. The other driver also says, we didn't horn you. I said, both of you were looking at me. Both of you are basically staring at me. He says that he was looking on the right side. No, he was not looking on the right side. If he was looking on the right side, we wouldn't even meet here. We wouldn't even have this kind of situation. Like I said, I was not interested in knowing anything today about for me, priority, I was on the foot today. I was walking. For me, the priority today was to come to the Father as fast as possible. So you can imagine that they really did not make me happy about this stuff. I don't like losing time when I go to my Father. I don't like being stopped when I go to my Father. If I catch last minutes or something, if it's different, if I have time, but today I had a different kind of problems and I had to get to the Father. Like I said, Mother went with somebody else, and if she went walking, then I'm also going to go walking. The right is this way. That's the right side. I was not there. I was, just as I pointed you out, I was on the other side of the road. I was on the other side of the road, just like whoever this lady, just like this man here. It's actually quite important for me to give you an impression what it looks like if you are sitting inside of the car in this lane here and you are eyeing a pedestrian. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that looks like. So there is a guy right there. Would you even fucking notice him? What the hell would be so interesting on him that you would alert your co-driver and start to stare at him? Plus that, when this incident happened, I will repeat to you, we were on this double. There were even cars between us. They were where this car is. Then we had cars here. We had traffic coming here. And yes, I was coming this way down, a pedestrian. What the fuck was so... if you look at the right side, I wouldn't even see you. I wouldn't see you. I wouldn't see your co-driver, which sat on a passenger seat. There's one thing more that I have to say when it comes to the blonde guy. Maybe this guy is not so guilty. He might have even, he's going to respond to that question. I did not ask one today. However, he stated me that he will use some kind of a mask on that he will put something on his hair so that he would remind me of semi-blonde guy. I think he had something on his hair. Either those were glasses or even a mask. He said that he would do this to remind me because I kept seeing in him a semi-blonde guy. So this is the story. He says, no, 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 that I don't know what the fuck he says. I guess that he didn't see anybody. That's his partner right there. That supposedly is an older guy. This guy was just learning the job from the other guy. He says that he was on the right side, whatever. Um, I said, that's not really what took place. And I tried to explain them what exactly went on. Well, they know the story better than I do. His partner is not happy with me. He disregards me, and the two walk with me based on MK Ultra. We are heading back toward the area, which I demonstrated you earlier, is like an entrance for them. Yeah, I try to be polite. I try to be even polite with them. I say to him, I say to him, look, look, and this is also planned. This is also based on MK Ultra scenario. The way they disregard me is very impolite. They anticipated there will be a physical fight between me and them before we would reach the other side of the building. Let me give you this here. Okay, he says, I have you enough, and I don't know what. I don't even hear what the hell he says. He does not allow me to talk, to explain. So. Waving the hands like this and all that stuff. That's really not polite. I'm not interested. I really don't want to know. I have enough of this. Thank you. Bye-bye. So we go to the same direction. I tell them, because of what happened here, the case is not closed. I will return here and I will speak to your management. It's not over. And this is about management. I tell them it's not over, just so the two of you know that. That's all. They told me everything is good, everything is going to be good, as long as there will be no incident between us as we separate here. They did count it on physical altercation, literally they did. That's all there is. The rest of it, I will explain to you everything here in continuation as I visited Father. I give the example of what exactly took place, and as I am returning back from the city, the best really is to make the same day recording of the whole thing, and you know, this is what we want: fresh, nice, clean. What else I would say to this is that Igor Juršić, I do return at later time back. Igor Juršić suggested, this is a new director of Novo Mesto police station, a criminal who was involved in this shit since I was a child. I wrote about his episodes. Just another Illuminati child, basically. Gestured that, and that's all there is, and then you will see, then we will add and subtract the results of all the incidents that we created. Somebody needed this incidents. I think nobody more than Americans and British. I think they paid very well for this organized crime. Well, they wanted to be responsible, the one deciding about it, and they will. We will find a way for them to be responsible, just the way they want it. On my way back, I did stop at this very same place, at this very same location. I returned back here. I came back here. Um, I was tutored that this is really a restricted area, that it's not supposed to be nobody here and so on. What I was doing is I was making sure that any sign, anything that would state anywhere, yeah, because today it can be like this, and tomorrow you can put the fucking sign and you say, oh, well, but there was a sign here and this and that. Well, fuck your sign. There was no sign here. There was no sign anywhere. I see a guy coming from the building here. You're going to see.
No sign, anything whatsoever. Any kind
Yeah,
of
this is
restrictions,
important
anything
for
that
me.
would
That's the
suggest,
kind of stuff
you
I
know,
like. That's the kind of stuff I like. I like to make 360-degree when I get into this stuff. I don't want to come tomorrow and or somebody from police station say to me, oh, there was a sign or something like that posted. We don't do this kind of stuff. I should have done that already earlier. I did not. I was pressured on our license plates and all kinds of issues like this, with the police sitting inside of a room where I'm at on the laptop, what I'm using right now, gesturing me, oh, well, it's look at how the Google Maps is doing this. They not license tag this and that, and all kinds of blah 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 like this, with employees, with nurse, blonde nurse who insisted me, well, you're not supposed, and so on. I just need to find a little fella that came out of the building before I live here, because this is the guy
I
that
would have to
also
know
works
it's
in
a
the
guy building
hospital
based on MK Ultra brainwash, but
and was
you know,
also
this isn't
involved
the
in
thing.
brainwash.
You don't go and get people like this. The two drivers are both visibly aggressive
This is
toward
this
me.
is this is a short guy. This is a short guy. This is a short guy that's going to come right from behind the building. Who, however, worked at the hospital next door, who also was involved in
It's a
MK.
hostile environment.
That's
I
what he
know
suggested.
once I meet these people.
And pressured also on the issue
And
of
I'm actually
recording
glad
this
I
and
had a
so on.
camera on, because it was just inappropriate the way they even interact.
I might actually see this guy. Let
If
me
you want
see.
to invite me to your place like this, then it's going to be bad for you. This is going to go straight to the police station. This is going to be a police report. Igor Juršić, intimidated with the Stefanich, with the police officers, insisted that we don't see you somewhere in the back of the building, anything recording or anything like this. They had a police cars that will come from the road.
Oh, there is the guy
So
right there.
Here.
There is a guy right there. It's not all kinds of people that work here. This is very important for me. The guy right here, it's a shorter guy, but he told me that he worked in the building next door. Because the police even took me here, behind this building here. Heaven or hell, between heaven and hell, that the guy had his sweater on today on a motorbike. He was passing right next the gate when I was returning back home. Yeah. How can I say? He did this based on my book, which I released. I released the book in 2000 and, no, what was the year? 2008. The book was written. Oh, I don't know, 500 pages, something little, where I did not mention MK Ultra because I was afraid. And he suggested me that he will do this for me. And once the police learned about that stuff that this kid was using, they started to intimidate with on how this stuff will be decided about me. Yeah, well, technically, yeah, you could easily use this area here. It's not restricted in any way. Anybody could go through. But in specifically, this guy insisted me that he's from. That's a hospital, the main hospital that you see behind. And they were taking me here. They were showing me this fence here and terrorized me with the issue that you're not supposed to come here. You're not supposed to, etc., etc. As much as weird as it seems, this from what I was told, is the main entrance into this Zdravstveni dom with ambulance vehicles. Now they do have what is known as a garderoba closers, where you would go and you would change your outfit as you go home. And that one, I don't know where the hell that would be. Um, it appeared to me on an upper floor somewhere, but you know where the hell on the upper floor, I'm not capable, at least for now, I'm not capable to determine about that. But they had me inside of this closers where they were changing themselves before they would head home, etc., etc. That's all there is. The rest of it, I give more details about the stuff that went on as I started to recall all this stuff that took place today. Shit, this is 48 minutes long clip, so unfortunately I am going to be separately. I'm going to title this as part one, and below it's going to be the evidence about the crime itself. That's all that is. Since I'm here, so that you know exactly what I'm referring to, I am going to play you this first, um, what is it, maybe 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Is
That's what this is about.
right there, an ambulance vehicle right there at the end. It make a turn right here. As I was going like this through the traffic, he was going along the traffic because it's a jam. But there's one thing about him, what he was doing is he kept horning. He kept horning with a horn. And also based on Anki scenario, he's gonna have to explain about that horning because nobody was actually on his way or anything like this. It's a call on its cars. And another thing is the two drivers, I remember his face also. They both looked through the windows at me when they were doing that stuff. I was on this side of the road here, not on the other side of the road. He was on the other side of the road, extreme other side of the road. So that is the stuff that maybe we can check. He's right there. He's going right through right there.
There you go.
Maybe we can check what is it that he wanted from me. Maybe he wanted to tell his story. It's not going to be difficult to do this because I remember his face. Both drivers. That was a semi-blonde guy. They were
Brown
all
hair,
involved in this stuff.
just the way you saw it. This kid was involved in this since he was teenager.
Dobar dan. Kaj se pa zgodilo? Ker tam sem vas videl na mostu, da ste zelo mene ste se pravili blaguzo. Pa ste trobo občasno, pa ste pa v mene gledali. Kaj pa bilo tako? Prosim? Tu je telefon. Ja, snemam. Prosim? Vprašal sem vas, zakaj ste se peljali po mostu na drugi strani. Jaz sem bil na tisti strani tukaj, na levi strani. Pa kaj ste trobo po mene gledali, mislim? Oba dva sta mene celo gledala. Celo gledala sta me. Ne bo šlo zaradi tega, ker, lejte, peljal sem, lejte, sem trenutek, lejte. Zaradi te zadeve se bom jaz še oglasil pri vas. Zaradi te zadeve. Tu se ni končalo, ne? Tukaj da veste to.
This is you know what this is? Do you know what this is? Do you people know at least what the fuck you're looking at here? Those that don't know anything about Illuminati crime, this is how you make money with Illuminati. It's exactly like this. You sign up for the crime, and then if the crime is successful to pass through, just like I did it today, that you see one on the internet, that you get to see one. If it's beneficial for the police, then it's wow. You know, but if it's not beneficial for the police, but you did exercise the crime, there is, yeah, a potential for you to face criminal penalties, charges. That's exactly what this is. Who knows how many people signed for crimes with the police? Um, a lot of people signed for the crimes for the police. That's how they got freebies, job promotions, loans, etc., etc., etc. That's exactly what you're watching right there. Maybe he got the job like this. Maybe it was difficult to get the job, and maybe this was the part of the way. This is what a lot of people got into it, so they could guarantee themselves employment. They did talk to me about all these kind of issues. That's exactly what you're watching. So all good. Below, what you're gonna see is the original video recording of the incident.